Alright, so I'm actually filming this at the end of the day the chicks got here, but I wanted to put this section in the beginning of what to do the day your chicks arrive, just as a general disclaimer that throughout this series, this is what works for us on our homestead, things that we've learned from with failures, successes we've had within our process that we want to keep doing. We're always looking for ways to improve and to do things better, especially when it comes to animals, because we want to make sure that they have a good life, even though their end result is still going to be to feed our family and those who purchase chickens from us. So if you're finding anything in your process that needs improvement, I hope you find something in our process that works for you. We definitely aren't experts, but it's something that we're always trying to work on. So I hope you enjoy the series, and here's what to do the day your chicks arrive. You guys, the post office just called. It's 7:30 in the morning. I'm not ready yet. I still have to find a heat bulb. It's only 60 degrees outside. Look. I have to find the heat bulbs and get the waters ready. So we need to get stuff going here. So I'll need to find the other heat lamp somewhere, and I also have to run an extension cord from our garage down here. So I will go find those and I'll be right back. Okay, so while I finish getting things set up before we go get the chicks, just a few things I'll tell you. When you get your chicks, it's okay if you keep them in the house for a couple of days in a little brooder, but you don't want to have it in your main living space. Sometimes the basement is okay, but it's not recommended to keep your chicks in the house just because of the human health safety, and if you have any other animals like dogs or cats, things like that in the house. It's ideal to have them out in a brooder space somewhere, whether it's your garage, a shed that you have, things like that. And when you're looking for your shavings, you want to pick pine shavings, like I said in the first video. Don't pick cedar shavings because that can be harmful to the chicks. Make sure the shavings are big enough, otherwise they will eat them and you will have a higher mortality rate. Do not use newspaper. That will cause the chicks' legs to spread apart, and they kind of do the splits. Once they do the splits, they cannot get out of that position and they will also die. And when you have your heat lamps set up, you want to make sure that there's space that they can stay warm in, since they don't have feathers. They're just little fluff balls when they show up. You want it to be around 95 degrees, especially if it's cooler like today here in Minnesota. Then they stay nice and warm. And because of the number of chicks that we are getting, I have 2 heat lamps set up. I have to find the plug-in splicer for to get the other heat lamp set up. But ideally what you're looking for is about half of a square foot per chick heat space. Now we don't really have that. That's more of an ideal situation, but there's so little in the first few days that this is more than adequate for them. Also, when you are setting up your chicks, I'll show you once we get them and get them to put them in the brooder, how to transfer them from the shipping box to the brooder. But when you first get them and put them in the brooder, you only want to have water for at least the first hour, if not first 2 hours. Basically the chicks hatch, are sexed, and then shipped out. They are not given any food or water before they are shipped. When they hatch, they have enough nutrients in their little bodies to last 72 hours, so roughly 3 days, which is why when they give you, your hatchery gives you a ship date, you get them within 24 to 48 hours. And if you have a high mortality rate in your shipping box, they will either reimburse you or send you chicks to replace the chicks that you lost in shipment. Now, our hatchery that we're working with, it's Whelp Hatchery. I'll put the link for the hatchery online in the description box below. We have ordered from them almost every time we've gotten meat chicks, and they have been fantastic to work with. Their chick prices might be a tiny bit higher, but the chick prices include shipping so that they don't charge anything extra for shipping. Their customer service is great, and they've been fantastic to work with. So going back to the water. Ideally, what you want to do with the water, and also what our hatchery recommends in their catalog when you get your chicks, especially the meat birds first, is you only offer them water. I just have a little water. I have to find the second little one. But in your water, you put a 1/4 cup of sugar per gallon. Something else I also do is I put about 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in this container. It also just kind of helps boost their immune system. So I got the water set up. I did get some other bases. I found them, and I got everything else set up. So since we have 100 chicks, I am going to do 3 waters, kind of spread out, especially with our sugar apple cider vinegar mixture for the first 2 hours. So I probably have a gallon here worth. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to, I guess I'll eyeball it as far as putting the sugar in. I do have a 1/2 cup in here. I thought I was going to need a little bit more. So I'm only going to use half of the sugar, pretty much evenly distributed between the 3 waters. And this is the apple cider vinegar that I use. I try to make sure that it has the mother in it. Usually you can see it in the bottom. And then I'll just put a couple splashes in each one, usually equaling about 2 to 3 tablespoons. Again, this just helps with immunities and cleansing. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I am going to go get the chicks. They are still in the car right now so that I could get their water officially set up. If you notice, I did move the water out from underneath the heat lamps because the chicks are going to want to lay under here, at least for the first few days, to keep warm and sleep for the most part. And we don't want them fighting over the water underneath the heat lamp and trying to sleep under the heat lamp. Otherwise, they could fall asleep in the water and drown, and we don't want that. So let's go get the chicks, and I'll show you what the next step is. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but it does say that they hatched at 10 a.m. date shown on package. So what that means is they hatched yesterday morning, May 1st at 10 a.m. and then they were shipped out. Hopefully you can hear me over how loud they are. Which honestly, that's really awesome to know that they actually showed up at our post office less than 24 hours after they were hatched. He's not looking super great, but he was smushed in the corner. So we'll go ahead and get this one some water. It is trying to peck, so that's a good sign. They are pretty tired from traveling. They haven't slept very much. So let's go ahead and get this one some water. So what we want to do is just dip their beak in the water so they know where it is. And then we set them down. So he's number 1. It may seem forceful to get their beak in the water, but you want to make sure that they're hydrated and that they understand where the water is. Alright, so it turns out we received 106 chicks, and we lost none in shipping, which is pretty awesome. They are, I'll show you here in a second, but they are running around and they are happy. Find like the one little hole. Nope. Oh. No. Don't go on there. Alright guys, it has been about 2 hours. Let's go check on the chicks and get them some food. Good news. Good news. Everybody's in here still. Nobody got out. And it also looks like everybody's drinking well. And everybody's still alive. Woohoo! Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I will fill the feeders and put them out so that they can eat. So now what we'll do for the next several days is just monitor them, make sure that their health is good, give them fresh water every morning and evening, and just make sure that they always have enough food. Since they are Cornish cross, they're supposed to be harvest ready within 8 weeks. We did do straight run, so they're male and female, because we have orders that are set for the larger sized whole birds and the smaller sized whole birds. So it really is just going to work out awesome. So we'll keep you guys updated on how things are going. If you have any questions on what to do the day you get your chicks, if you think I left anything out, leave it in the comment box below. If you did like the video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Let us know that you're enjoying the series.